Okay, chapter 11, supply chain management. Supply chain is a network from a supplier to a customer. So connected from supplier to customer. This one from this figure from our textbook. So it's about beer. So how make beer and then how distribute to customer, then change the price. So from a farm to the such middle suppliers like outsourcing companies. So hop, grains, can manufacturing company and bottling company, and send it to brewers, and then from there to warehouse, distributor, and then a wholesale and retail sale, customer, and so on. So this is the supply chain. Then supply chain management is a total system approach to manage the entire flow of information, material, service, and so on. So simply, supply chain management is coordinating activities in supply chain to make it better, cheaper, faster. So managing or coordinating activities. Which activities? Receiving, sending, making, distribution, and so on. So managing supply chain activities to make better, cheaper, faster. That is supply chain management. Okay, measuring supply chain performance. Measure if the supply chain work good or not good. Using inventory turnover. Inventory turnover equals cost of goods sold, like a revenue, divided by cost is cost, just material cost and such cost, and then divided by average aggregate inventory value. So including work in process, finished product, raw material, so total aggregate inventory, that is inventory turnover. And next one is weeks of supply. How long supply, material, work in process, and final products, how long they stay in the system supply chain. That is supply weeks of supply, average aggregate inventory value divided by cost of goods sold. This one is like a flip. This inventory turnover, numerator, denominator, flip over, and then times 52 weeks, because now a year is 52 weeks. With the example, this one is certain companies real statement. Net revenue 18,243. Actually, this one is million. And then cost of net revenue 14,137, and so on. Then inventory turnover 14,137. This is the cost of goods sold, the same as the cost of revenue, divided by aggregate inventory value 234. Production material inventory, And then work in process and finished product inventory. So aggregate inventory value equals 51.78 tons per year. The next one, weeks of supply, flip over and then times 52, so 1.004 week in the system. Okay, just a moment. I will bring up the board. Change screen. Okay. If company A's, what the, company A's doesn't work. Maybe oh wait, sorry, it doesn't work very well today. Why? Let's see. Okay. Earlier when I tested this one worked now. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Come on, come on. I don't know why. Okay, hopefully it worked. Company still doesn't work good. Forget it. Okay, change. Share this screen. Okay. I will use an annotation here. Okay, if company A's inventory turnover is 51.78, and then weeks of supply is 1.04. If company B's inventory turnover is, let's say, 40. Tons per year. And then weeks of supply is, let's say, 1.2 week. Like this. Okay. Which companies supply chain work better or faster? A or B? Company A's inventory turnover is 51.78 tons, and weeks in of supply is 1.004. Company B's inventory turnover is 40 tons per year, and weeks of supply is 1.2 week. What do you think? Which companies in the supply chain work better or faster?
A.
A. Why?
It is turning over more per year.
Yes, right.
And has less inventory on hand per week.
Right. So more tons means work fast. and then the less time in the system, work fast, right? So with this inventory turnover and weeks of supply, we can determine or measure how supply chain work compared to other companies in the supply chain. So we can use inventory turnover and weeks of supply to measure supply chain. Okay, next. So supply chain, if a company has all functions, then the company can make the supply chain with own company functions. But most companies doesn't have all functions, so use outsourcing. So in supply chain, to make a supply chain, develop supply chain, they consider if we do or if let them do it. So if we can do better than, if we cannot do better than others, that means others can do better than, cheaper than, faster than us, then let them do it. So that is outsourcing. If we can do better than, faster than, cheaper than others, then bring all functions in-house. That is vertical integration. So outsourcing send out functions. Vertical integration bring back all functions. So outsourcing the act of moving some of firm's internal activities and decision responsibility to outside provider. And the vertical integration, developing the ability to produce goods and or services previously purchased or actually buying a supplier or a distributor. So bring all functions inside. If we can do better than others, cheaper than others, faster than others. So by this, maybe they can reduce cost, cheaper, better, and faster. Supply chain risk and tactics. When I was in Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, one time, one of Hyundai suppliers, the plant, was on fire. So the supplier couldn't send part to Hyundai. So Hyundai, at the time, Hyundai struggled about a month because of the part to bring the part that supplier provide from Korea. So like that, so supply chain consists of many companies, outsourcing companies, and so on like that. So there are some risks like this: supplier failure to deliver. So tactic to reduce that risk, tactics like this: use multiple suppliers. So so after that, Hyundai try to make multiple suppliers. For example, the company need paint. So they need paint for the car. before that, I know only one paint company provide, but like in multiple or diversification, Hyundai asked a certain company, why don't you provide paint for us? So a certain company developed a paint section and like this. And supplier quality failures risk, many cases. So reduction tactics, careful suppliers selection, of course, training, certification, and monitoring, and also evaluate suppliers. So Hyundai use evaluation every year, evaluate suppliers, and then give them like a certificate. Your company is a 5-star supplier, 4-star supplier, and so on. And then if they are 5-star supplier, then give some incentive, like pay in short term, and the evaluation term expand like every other year and so on like that. And then outsourcing, they decide outsourcing or not, bring in vertical integration. Hyundai has part company, one of the as a subsidiary. Name is MOBIS, M-O-B-I-S. That is Hyundai subsidiary and produce kind of critical parts, and then provide those parts to Hyundai. So bring in. So Hyundai did partially vertical integration using that subsidiary. So take over production, provide or perform the service themselves. And then logistics, delay or damage. This one is the same risk, like a delay from a supplier, or during the delivery damage and so on. So ask suppliers certain changes, something like that. I have one case about that. One of suppliers of Hyundai, door panel supplier to Hyundai. The company make very well high quality product, but during delivery damaged. So it's like a defect rate increase because of damage. It's like a scratch during the delivery, and then hit, and then ding, and so on like that. So the supplier company developed a kind of the cover. So cover each product supply, and then delivery carefully like that. So tactic is like that. And distribution, the same, careful selection, monitoring, and so on. Information loss or distortion. So using a redundant database. This one is like an IT tech. And then political risk, insurance, and then also diversification. So not one country, more countries like that. Because I know about Hyundai, So I example many Hyundai case. This year, because of China, many suppliers in China for the Hyundai. One China company produce and provide Hyundai the wire inside of the car. Many wires need. One of that wire didn't come from China. So without that wire, Hyundai couldn't produce car, whatever. So struggled. So at that time, if Hyundai diversified supplier, not one company in one country, if Hyundai has multiple companies, suppliers, and then in multiple country, then maybe there was no problem. Problem was not much. So same story. So risk from the supply chain. So that comes from outsourcing companies and suppliers and so on. So reduce that risk. The same selection, careful selection, and then monitor diversification and so on. Okay. Then supply chain strategies. Depending on demand side and supply side, use different strategies. So depending on demand side and supply side, uncertainty, if uncertainty is low, high, both sides, use 4 different supply chain strategies. Demand side, product, type of product, 2 types, functional product and innovative product. Functional product, we use this product generally and widely. For example, grocery, gas, and so on. Characteristic of functional product, life cycle, product life cycle. I'm not sure if that one work good or not good. Still, just a moment, I try it again. Yeah, better than earlier. Okay, life cycle, product life cycle. I'm not sure you're familiar with this one. Looks, not good. I don't know why. Close this one and then open it again. No, not good. Wait. Use now. Maybe mouse and pen conflict. I will use other, just a moment. Okay. Life cycle, product life cycle looks like this. Like this. There are 4 phases: introduction and growth and mature and decline. This life cycle for this functional product is long. So more than 2 years. Great. So sometimes, you know, when I was like 5 years old, long time ago, in Korea, my sister brought me to a church. Then the pastor at the church was, I think, American. When I went to the church, then the pastor gave me candy. So I like the candy, so not because of that all, but I went to a church. At that time, that candy was lifesaver. The roof type, the color red, yellow. Still, I can buy that candy. So that candy's life cycle is like forever. So very long life cycle, like that. So functional products, product life cycle is very long, like this. And then contribution margin. When we, it's like this. To produce something, we need fixed cost, and then variable cost increase. So this is kind of total cost. And then sell at whatever price, and then this is revenue. Then this point, we will talk about this in later chapter. So this point is break-even point, So this area is like that, price minus variable cost. Sometimes we call this one margin. So price minus variable cost is margin. Sometimes we call that profit. But after this break-even point, this area, the area between revenue and total cost, we call this area as profit. But before this break-even point, this area is not profit. Margin, contribution margin. That means this margin, price minus variable cost, contribute to offset this fixed cost. So if we need like $1,000 machine to produce something, and then produce one and then sell at $20. And then variable costs such as material cost and labor cost include. Then if variable cost is $10, so price minus variable cost, 20 minus 10 is $10. Then produce one, sell $10 margin, and then offset $10 of fixed cost, machine cost, and so on. So to offset all this fixed cost, the company should sell 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. So this point is 100. Must sell more than 100. Then after this point, this one is profit. So for the functional products, contribution margin usually small because life cycle is long. Contribution margin small, no problem. And then long lead time is usually long. And then innovative products such as fashion apparel. This summer's fashion may be next summer's fashion too, but usually this year's fashion, not fashion next year. So sometimes fashion apparel life cycle is only one season, very short life cycle. So innovative products life cycle is short, so contribution margin should be large for the innovative product. So contribution margin should be large for innovative product. And then lead time for innovative products should be short because innovative products life cycle is short. If long lead time is long, then already this is not fashion, then they cannot sell. So innovative products life cycle is short, contribution margin should be large, and lead time should be short. Okay, next. Supply side, types of supply chain, stable supply and evolving supply. I have Samsung Galaxy model is, this one is not the regular model line. Hyundai currently S20, Galaxy S20 is the most recent model. So a regular model line is S, like 10, 9, 10, and then jump up and then 20 now. I'm not sure about the iPhone. And also mine is the J line type. So that one is not cheap, and then how can I say? less function and cheap model line, and the old one. So I have this phone. So this one cover. This one is old model, and this cover of this cell phone. I bought that cover at $4, only $4. And then if I go, usually I bought the phone cover on eBay. So go into the eBay and then type my phone type, model, and tons of like part and accessory and so on like that. And they're very cheap. But the most recent Galaxy model, the type Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy S20, there are not many accessories as much in the old one, and then expensive. That is example of this stable and evolving supply. Stable supply process, the manufacturing process and the underlying technology are mature, like an old model, and then already the market is mature. That case, supply chain for already matured market is stable. So if I'm a manufacturer, to get a supply like a part and accessory, I have phone, old version 4 phone, then it's easy to get parts and accessory and cheap. So supply side market is already mature and then stable. And the other side, evolving supply process, such as new one and then high tech and so on, the manufacturing process and the underlying technology are still under early development and are rapidly change, then supply chain for new product is not stable. Not many accessories, and then price is high. And then if that one change rapidly, then they disappear, supply disappear easily. So from this figure chart, demand side uncertainty, functional products, and innovative products, there is demand. Always there is demand because people use that product every day, and then they need every day. So there is no demand. So demand uncertainty is low, but innovative products, fashion, next year not fashion, so demand disappear easily. So demand uncertainty is high for the innovative product. Supply side uncertainty, stable process, already matured, product supply, stable. So anytime, manufacturer can get supply and cheap. So uncertainty, supply uncertainty is low for a stable process. evolving process. Anytime disappear, and then sometimes it's hard to get supply. So high supply side uncertainty here. So based on demand and supply uncertainty, we can divide 4 dimensions of the supply chain strategy: efficient, risk hedging, responsive, agile supply chain strategy. First dimension, low demand and supply side uncertainty. That means anytime we can get a supply easily and cheap, and then sell anytime because there is demand. So don't worry about it. Just try to make it cheaper. So in efficient supply chain strategy, aim at focus on cost efficiency. Try to make it cheaper because anytime we can get and anytime we can sell. Example of the products: grocery, basic apparel, food, oil, and gas, like that. And next dimension, such as hydroelectric power, some food produce, they are depending on weather. So if weather is okay, then supply, like water, amount of water is okay, but drought, then problem like that. So in this dimension, supply side uncertainty is high, but demand is always there, such as hydroelectric power and so on. So try to aim at pooling and sharing resources. For this hydroelectric power, they build bigger dam, reserve water, and reserve something like that. So try to reserve supply and then diversify suppliers, outsourcing companies, and something like that. And next dimension, such as fashion apparel, anytime demand disappear rapidly, so demand uncertainty is high, but supply uncertainty is low. That case, try to move fast. Move fast. So make the company responsive and flexible. So try to change or move fast. That is responsive supply chain strategy. And then last dimension, both sides, demand and supply uncertainty high and high, such as telecommunication, high-end computer, and so on. You know, what do you think? My speaking English understandable? But I have a Korean accent. So, but I came to the United States 1991, so almost 30 years. Always I concern my speaking English because my English is not mother language. So I try to better English. So ask the student how to pronunciate this word and ask like that. So in during I've been in the United States a couple of times. I asked, "Were you born in the United States?" Then no, I'm not yet. If I get a citizenship, then I can say I born in the United States. I still have a green card. I came to the United States almost 30 years ago. At that time, to call make a call to Korea, international call, it was the connection fee first time about $2, and then $1 each minute. So if I call make call to Korea, 1 minute, then $3, $4, and so on like that. One day, one new company came into that industry. Now that company disappeared. MCI, the telephone the company was MCI. They said, we will not charge the connection fee. So just $1 per minute. So many foreign students moved to that company. And then Sprint, at that time, Sprint came, and then Sprint said, we will charge $80 cents per minute. So foreign students moved there. Then AT&T, we charge $50, 50 cents, move there, like that. So like a telecommunication company, supply side and demand side move fast like that. So uncertainty is high and high like that. So that case, the company should move fast. To make move fast, they should be make the company flexible, responsible, safe, and so on. And also try to reserve supply. So we call that agile supply chain. Move fast. Either way, both sides, demand side and then the supply side, try to move fast. So that is the agile supply chain. Still, you know, many telecommunication companies appear and then disappear, appear, disappear, and then merge, and so on like that, right? Do you know what Sprint merged and what is that? T-Mobile? T-Mobile merged Sprint now. So one time Sprint was one of the biggest telecommunication company, but now T-Mobile merged Sprint. So depending on demand and supply uncertainty, they should use different supply chain strategy like this. And then another strategy and impact. If company focus on cost, make cheaper or faster or better, then they should use different like a strategy, and then how that strategy impact. So if they want make cheaper in that industry, then primary supplier selection criteria is cost. So when select suppliers, then low cost supplier choose. And then if they want to make it faster, then when they choose select suppliers, then they should consider if their suppliers' capacity, speed, and flexibility. And then if the company focus on making better quality, then if they have enough high tech and skill and so on. And the inventory side, if they use this low cost, then minimize inventory and decide because of move fast, buffer the inventory size, and then decide to minimize inventory. And distribution, because of cost, try to inexpensive. We will talk about this transportation a little bit later method. So try to use inexpensive transportation method. Then here fast, and then here gather and communicate market research data. This one is not about the distribution matter. And then yeah, and then product design. Minimize cost, that means design and so on, focus on efficiency. And then here low setup time because of time. So try to make it faster by reduce setup time, whatever time. And then here differentiation, better modular design. Do you remember last week we talked about the process and then the module, using module, so on. We will talk about this module later, a little bit later. So again, depending on what they focus, make it better, cheaper, faster, then supply chain strategy, different supply chain strategy and different impact. Managing supply chains, so using different strategies, and then they use different method or concept and so on. Lot size, usually nowadays, many companies try to reduce lot size. That means order size, small by small, to reduce inventory cost. But sometimes, because of the economies of scale, discount, so sometimes order a large lot is better to save cost sometimes. So decide large lot size is one of the tactic or strategy in supply chain. And then single stage control of replenishment. Member in the chain as responsible for monitoring and managing inventory in the supply chain based on pull from the end user. You know, when you go market, Walmart, wherever, and then now we can use app, then we can check if they have whatever I need. we can check the availability. That is kind of inventory check. So they can do it sometimes. If it is available, then we can check like this. So end user or a store manage that inventory, and then inventory level low, then automatically place order. So earlier we call that POS, point of sales. So if I buy something, then automatically it change the inventory level, and then inventory level low, and then automatically send purchasing order and so on like that. So this is that mechanism is a single stage control of replenishment. So many companies use this, and then vendor managed inventory. Use of a local supplier to maintain inventory for the manufacturer or retailer. You know, Amazon, when they started the online order business, at that time, there were many controversies, because to sell everything, Amazon should have all inventory there. So inventory cost high. That means overhead cost is high. So to solve that problem, nowadays connect to vendors, suppliers, connect directly to customers. So Amazon doesn't have that inventory, but a customer place order, and then that order connected to a vendor, and then vendor send the product service to customer. That is a vendor managed inventory system, VMI. So in supply chain, to reduce inventory costs and then response fast, many companies use this VMI. And then collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. This one also the same. So work together by connected by IT, then work together to reduce inventory and then response fast. And then blanket order. This one is a kind of long-term purchase commitment, not short-term. So long-termly contract, and then that case inventory cost low, and then uncertainty is low, like that. So these like concepts or technology and tools to reduce inventory costs fast and so on in a supply chain. Okay, next one is value density. About 10 minutes more, then we will be done tonight's lecture. Value density, the value of an item per pound of weight. here. Come on. What looks like? I cannot hear you.
It looks like a cloud.
Yeah, it looks like a cloud, but I drew cotton. Is it right spell? C-O-T-T-O-N, cotton? Is it
Yeah.
right? So
It also
when we
looks like
go,
cotton now.
yeah. When we go the shopping mall, then a teddy bear shop, and then they pull a cotton. So I've never bought that teddy bear. If 1 pound of cotton about this big, how much is it? Just a guess. How much is it? 1 pound of cotton. Let's say $5, $10. Let's say $10. Then I will draw something. Because this pen doesn't work well, so I don't know if you imagine what is this. Shiny things. Shiny thing. I draw the diamond.
Diamond.
So 1 pound of diamond, about this big. How much is it? Sometimes, you know, the MasterCard commercial, priceless. That means very expensive. So let's say $1 million. So same 1 pound, but value is different. So diamond side, value density is high, like a cotton or core, value density is very low. So based on this value density, we can decide what transportation we should use. Next slide. Transportation method. We may use air. We may use a truck, highway. We may use a train, railway, and then water, ship. And then speed, volume, and cost, value density. Air side, speed is fast. Water side is slow. Volume, air side, usually small. And then water side, a big ship, usually large. And then cost, air side is expensive. And the water side is cheap. If the value density is high, then using this side, fast, small, and high cost. If value density is low, then water side. So earlier in supply chain strategy, if they focus on cost, make it fast, cheaper, then they should consider cheaper but slow and large side transportation method. If they focus on fast, then even it is expensive, they should choose this side transportation method and so on like that. And then also depending on the material. If material is perishable, then speed important and so on like that. And then earlier we talked about modular, and so on, and then mass customization, the process. Mass customization means the types of product, many, and then volume is large. So that is mass customization process or situation. Then how can we handle that mass customization situation? Postponing the task of differentiation, and then stop latest possible point. Don't make final product, stop certain point. That point is latest possible point. Then wait until customer ask, differentiate. You know, when I need paint to paint wall, then we go Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. Then usually we select color like a card. Then compare, and then I like that. Then give that card to club. Then what they do? They bring they call a primer, like a white paint, and then on the machine, computer, type in a number, the color number, and then the machine mix color, and then on inside the machine, like a shaking machine, and then test the color, and then give you like that. So that is mass customization method, postponing, and then stop latest possible point using module like this. So when we go to buy paint, this one is latest possible point, and then use module like this. And then a customer come, ask orange, mix, and final product. Green, mix, and then final product like this. So using module, like the Dell computer, don't make a final product. And then customer asks such, then component by component, assemble, and then give you like that. So this is module, using module, and then stop here, postponing to make a final product. If it is product, then use module like this, or component by component, and then later make final product. And then if it is process, then using independent module. Cellular layout, So make a cell by similar common process. So make it like a unit. Cell, and then combine, and then make one process. So using independent modules such as a cell, and then they can move fast and then rearrange quickly, easily. So flexibility high. If it is supply network, then using module in supply chain network, module is outsourcing companies. So select carefully outsourcing companies and then combine, then they can make a complete supply chain. Then they can make it faster, cheaper, better. So that is supply chain, one of the supply chain strategy tool and so on. I think that's all for tonight's lecture. And then for next Tuesday, this one is kind of training you. Go to our school website. You can see Marywood website, right? Then go to library. Then, where are you? Databases, A to Z. Databases. Then scroll down or type here, find business source premier. So when we do research, even me, I use this business source premier. Then this one asks you login. So using this search engine, try to find supply chain management case, whatever. So the most popular supply chain case is Amazon. So how Amazon do supply chain management, use such to make it faster, make it better, make it cheaper like that. So any case in supply chain management, bring one, find one supply chain management case. Maybe journal paper, okay. Maybe news, like certain companies news about the supply chain. They do such and such in supply chain, and then they save money, save time, whatever. So any types of case So choose one, search, and then choose one, whatever you like. Summarize. Not too long, like half a page enough, maybe couple of paragraph enough. It's like that. Certain company do such to save money in supply chain, like that. So find one case and then summarize like that, and then talk about your finding next Tuesday. So just to try how you use this search engine for the journal and article and news and so on. Okay, so you can type here supply chain management, and then read. Then if you need more specific, then here like transportation or something like that. Okay. So you need like 30 minutes enough to do that. Okay. So next Tuesday, your group work about the case discussion. I asked Divya lead the group work meeting, and then one more finding a case about supply chain management. Any question? Okay, good. Thank you very much, and see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Have a
night.
Thank
good
you.
night.
Bye. Good night.